Okay, before we start this video, I wanted to just say this. It's gonna be a bit interesting. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be unique. It's gonna be its own thing. Just play along and just accept whatever's gonna happen. Okay? I'm trying to make this interesting as possible. There's a lot to talk about here. I'm gonna try my best. So, okie dokie. Let's continue. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very interesting episode of, normally it's stuff like this. I would say, oh, it's about this story and whatnot, but unfortunately, it's going to be a bit more different, because we're going to be doing a bit of, okay. So, this video is looking at the 4 scenes that we have yet to talk about, and it's because they have stories with them, but they don't have books associated with them. And quite frankly, they're just too short to kind of have bundled in. So I've decided to bundle everything together, including looking at certain aspects as well, as far as certain other people. This whole thing is basically a look at stuff I've missed overall throughout the playlist, and I guess you could say that it's kind of an anthology of sorts. So yeah, anyways, I don't know how I can start. Hello?
Did you just say anthology?
Yes.
Do I know you?
No, you probably are mistaking me for that other guy from the town. I'm sorry, I just want to break this up.
What are you doing here, Curly? I got bored. Lately, this whole thing with me and the current Halloween quest is a bit, you know. But I wanted to take a break, and I kind of miss doing these stories. I figured maybe I can help you out with, maybe introducing these things to you. I mean, I'm a sucker for books and anthologies, mostly.
Really? Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, to help me out a lot. I mean, I have a lot of this stuff here, and who better to tell stories than the narrator himself? So, I guess, I'm new to this. I have no idea how to start.
Well, why don't we start with the first and then go to the last one as far as getting content goes. I'm sure you're aware of that, right? Being a player and all.
Oh, right. Yes, I think I know what you're talking about here. Let's do that then. And, well, I have... Okay, it's not just the stories. There's other stuff too.
Yeah, I know. I got it. Don't worry. I'm gonna assist you with taking it from one to the other. You just worry about your video content stuff, and I'll worry about the narration.
Oh, okay. I guess so. I guess I'll get to it then. I guess I'll see you in the... Well, whatever.
Yeah, go. Well, I'm sure you didn't expect me to show up here, but I figured I'd get bored and decided it'd be an interesting fair share to kind of get involved within the community of sorts. Especially since, well, I'm a storyteller after all, and I figured this anthology would be a little bit more interesting and flavored up if I got involved in this tale. So, let's see what we got here. I remember this tale. Quite an interesting one, too. It's about our good old bully Marty, deciding to go ahead and figure out that he wants a dog. Who wouldn't want a dog? It could be a great companion. I should know. I had to rule, after all. He is a good companion and a good boy. But that's besides the point. Good old Marty here would want to have a dog, and he ends up getting what he wants. Unfortunately, may not be the type of dog he's looking for. Let's jump into this tale, shall we?
So we start with Curly's narration, so thanks about that. And yeah, we're going to the Blue Kettle Hound for this one. And what's interesting about this is that this is taking place during my, a bit of the, tablet thing here. So this is going to be the last time we're going to see this tablet screen, so it won't be for a while. But yeah, you know what? I figured I might as well do this because it's going to give us a bit of a context of, I guess you can tell this was taking place back in April 2019, so... Let's just go ahead and have Curly introduced to the story. So, what is the story we're dealing with?
When the ghost dog howls.
It would be cool if a super cool guy like me had a super cool dog. Know what I mean?
For sure, Marty. I bet we can find one for you.
Let's put some food out and see if a big, bad stray dog wants to become my dog.
Marty, do you have any clue what taking care of a dog properly requires?
Right, so it's going to be obtain some cardboard periscopes and obtain some leftover stew. What you'll also notice is when it comes to this particular, these quests, is that they're going to be in groups of 3, and they're always going to be the same thing. First one's going to be crafting this. Second off is going to be playing the scene and getting the items and then selling them. And then the third one's going to be buying a small premium item and then getting to a Scarometer milestone. And then rinse and repeat, and then that's it, the story. Originally, there was other stuff, like I believe it was the Snowman of Argentina. They had something similar to that. And then there's also, if I'm remembering correctly, there was also the fish place, the Jungle of Doom story. They ended up getting adapted and formed and fleshed out, but for some strange reason this time I guess they kind of stopped doing that. I don't know if it's because they had no idea how to add to these stories or what, but yeah, they're just going to be stuck like this. So I guess for the time being, this is going to be the only case for me to show it, and I wanted to get out of this case here. So yeah, so just bear with me. This is just my way of trying to catch up on loose ends and tie up stuff here. Also, I'm very curious and surprised that Curly out of anywhere decided to go ahead and just wanting to narrate. I'm surprised as you are, but yeah, so anyways, this is a close-up look of the ghost dog going around scaring people. Weird fact, when I first heard about this book, when the ghost dog howls, I immediately thought it was going to be the book of, like, the ghosts, the bark of the ghost, or ghost dog, or something like that. The ghost of the barking ghost, or something like that. Or some stupid... Basically, I was thinking about that one story where the kids got dog-napped, and then the dog spirits... It's a strange story. I'm not even sure if it's ever going to get adapted, but I really thought that was the story, and it wasn't what it ended up being, which is the Horrorland book. But yeah, it is. So I guess an interesting tale. I haven't even read that book, to be honest. I think this was when this is like the 13th one, so this was when the Jonathan Chiller trilogy kind of came into perspective. And, I guess we're about to go into our next quest here, so let's do that right now.
The pack.
Very good, player. You've done well. So far, you've stayed off the list of people I don't like. But are you sincere in your beliefs, or are you just afraid of the monsters coming out of the screen? Don't worry. I don't have that power yet. It doesn't unlock until level 50.
Hi, Slappy, and then, yeah, thanks, I guess. By the way, wait a minute, did you just say a level 50? Wait, I locked you a level 50, and you still haven't popped up and scared at me. So you're a liar. Unless, of course, Curly coming out and doing this is some way of showing that. You know what, I'm not going to think about that. The fact that he's here is even weird enough. Anyways, I think this is where it's continuing.
You need to be responsible to have a dog. And I'm sorry to say, Marty, that's not you.
Quiet, Sharon. I think a dog's coming for the stew. Here, boy.
That's an unusual dog. He's like blue.
Unusual means cool, right, Marty? Only a cool guy could have a blue dog.
Yeah, so now Marty has gotten himself the blue dog in question. It seems like he somehow lured it here. I just don't know why exactly the dog in question. Again, I haven't read the book, so maybe someone who has can fill me in on this whole story of what the blue dog is about. But anyways.
Marty, are you sure you can control that dog? He looks kinda scary.
Sure, he does whatever I want.
So, what you want him to do right now is looking mean and growling at you?
That is one scary doggy, so we're gonna have to play the hound scene, get the collars, which comes from him, and then, of course, sell them to Shader, of all people. I know one particular person watching this is not a fan of satyrs with his drops, and it's become a meme of its own. But yeah, we're gonna summon the dog. Now the thing with him though is that because he's a single scene, he's like, you can't increase the percentage odds. You have to keep on just sending him out, and hopefully he drops the callers in question in order to continue on with this. It's a bit annoying, but it's what we're gonna have to work with, right? So I might as well just have this go on in the background, and yeah. So this whole thing is gonna be weird. It's gonna be like small chunks, and when I said it was like an anthology, I really mean it. It's gonna be very weird. Let's put it that way. And quite frankly, I think this is going to be a very, this is going to be one of its kind. I don't think I'm going to see myself doing this after the fact, because I think after this video, all the things have been wrapped up, and basically moving forward is going to be all the new stuff. So that's going to be great, because I've been on this, this whole year, it's basically just been trying to catch up any loose ends. So now I've technically covered almost everything within this game, which is an amazement within itself. Almost everything. I know technically I haven't really recorded during the beta or even the first ever event, but I kind of redeemed myself with the bad hair day thing, so I guess you could look at it as me kind of doing that, but yeah, I'm just rambling on here as we speak, and as you can see, I do have enough to sell, but I'm not going to do it just yet because I have yet to pass the amount I need in order to kind of continue. And oh yeah, during this time, this is when the game that was on decided to corrupt with the glitchy of roads. We've seen this happen before in other parts, and basically in this part, this whole thing is going to be like short little people. So just ignore the small little characters on the sidelines. All you care about is the dialogue per se. But yeah, it's what it is. It's like what I have to work with, and weird thing too is that I think the Ghost Hound, as far as I know, is the only one with Andrew Craw, who's just a ghost in transparent blue background. I will say it was really crap to try to get that dog to appear in the thumbnail because he's so transparent. He kind of gets copped and cropped out of the thing, so I had to just basically just give up on that idea because he was transparent, but he was transparent in the background, so it was kind of hard to get rid of said background because losing the transparency. So I was like, let's screw it. It's gonna be what it is now. And right, this whole thing hopefully is going to be less chaotic. I'm hoping the other books are a bit more interesting because of the the other books we're going to be taking a look into. I know all of them, so that's better. But anyways, I think we're going to continue on with something else.
The oily intruder.
Officer Ramon, I need to know the news about the intruders that violate the safety of the nuclear plant. Ma'am, we have found a track of small drops of oil that we believe belong to the intruders, or intruders. If we manage to follow the trail, we could find the place it came from. Go ahead. Let me know of the status of the case when you have anything to report.
Oh yeah, I think I mentioned something about this before. I guess this is where I've remembered recording it. Now, I think Dylan, who is going to be mentioned later on in this part, I think maybe near the very end, you'll see. I think he actually went through and talked, basically just kind of playing through the game and been recording all the dialogue. So he's another person you can go to as far as catching up on stuff that I missed, because quite frankly, he also covered some things that I ended up not being able to do. And I can now say, hey, cite my source, I'm going to go to him. I can't tell you what video in particular, but I will have to give him credit where credit is due when we get to that certain part, when we get to the Shaggedy. But until then, we're just going to have to let the ghost dog do his howling around and just go up from there. Interesting too, by the way, that he talked about Curly mentioned something about his dog Drool. Funny story. I know technically there was a Halloween event that has just kind of went on with 2020, where he was featured and Drool was coming into the game and all that stuff. But I remember playing through Drool's questline, and most of the animals were all talking. And like all of them we have released thus far, up to this point, were talking, including the Ghost Hound, which is very intriguing because you would think that this thing wouldn't talk, but he does. So I have no idea what kind of voice I'm going to give him. The other characters, I already know what I'm going to be doing for them, but him, I have no idea if it's going to be something where you don't think he's going to be that scary, or if it's going to be hilarious, as in like scary monster, or if he's going to be like that whole, oh, that's a weird voice to give to somebody like you. Right, so third time now. Let's hopefully see if this is going to be the one that will get me what I need. I think it is, or else I wouldn't have included it during this part here. But boy, oh boy, I'm certainly going to make this whole video a bit long of certain parts. You can see why it would be kind of weird to kind of do these in smaller videos. I just figured it would be more convenient just to kind of clump everything together, because quite frankly, the other clips and questions are going to be really, really quick, and you'll see why. But, yeah, I'm also going to be talking about, and I guess Curly's going to be assisting with me here, is introducing to you the 3 characters I've yet to talk about because they don't have stories. Well, one of them technically does, but the other ones not so much, so I guess this is going to be my way of kind of doing that and portraying that. And yeah, I think, this is where I'm going to get everything here. So once the dog's done his barking, I'll sell the collars to Seder, and then we'll continue on with this storyline and see where everything goes from here. So let's go ahead and click it. I got the collars, so now I'm going to be selling it to Seder, and we're going to continue on with the story.
The Marty Metasizer is too cool to be afraid of any dog. Here, boy. Heal. When he looks at me that way, my knees kind of goes to chilly.
Man, that is one scary doggy.
I don't want to admit it to Sharon, but maybe she was right. I didn't know what I was getting into when I wanted a dog.
Gee, Marty, when are you gonna show me an awesome dog tricks you were telling me about?
They're awesome, alright. Too awesome to show you right now.
Alright, place the tombs, and then reach a scale meter. So this is the last quest to this. And I'm surprised there is no book associated with this, because I think I vaguely remember that there is, if you go to, there's an art website that shows people's portfolios, like, oh, this is what I do, this is my kind of art examples. And there have been some artists who have worked or is working at Pixowl. And there was one in particular that did some statues, and some of these statues ended up becoming a real thing, whereas others did not. And it's very weird to see this happening, because one of the artwork is what looks like the blue hound dog statue, as well as the Shaggedy. And I know this is the case because some of these statues ended up actually becoming into the game, as you'll see. But anyways, I think we're done with the story.
I wish I never found this dumb dog.
Hey, he just disappeared when you said you wished for that.
Aw, man, I could have wished for all kinds of cool stuff if I'd known. Dang it. Come back, dog.
Just shows that you never know what you're going to get when you wish for something. Better luck next time, Marty.
And with that, we're done with when the ghost dog howls. So that was an interesting story, to say the least. But yeah, I think that's 1 story down and 3 to go. So I figured, let's go ahead and I will give it back to Curly, who I'm assuming he will be I don't even know what his deal is. This is so weird. I don't know what's going on, but alright, I guess pass it back to him.
Why don't we take a break for a moment and look at some other characters, shall we? Some people here in our little town of horror sometimes don't have stories of their own. However, some are a little bit more fleshed out than others. Take the police officer, for example, Officer Ramon. She certainly has a reputation for this grim guy. But regardless, why don't we take a look into her characteristics and what she does for this town.
Yeah, Curly, you don't have to rub it in. Thanks a lot. Yeah, so we're gonna look into the police officer's stuff, so... Alright, let's see. Looking for a suspect, looking for clues. We're gonna take a look into looking for a suspect first of all, and I guess I'm gonna be showing off bit by bit of her animations when you do get her. Now, this is what she looks like for the most part. Yeah. She's just walking around, kind of like her hand on her hip, almost ready to, on a standby stance of sorts. And I guess this is somewhat of her walking around, but it kind of has this more intimidating kind of look, as if, as the name implies, she's looking for somebody. Almost like being alert of sorts. However, we're just going to go and dive right into here. And ignore this stuff from previous events, just because it's not important to the story. So what I'm showing here is where the officer comes from, which is the police station here. This is a little setup I ended up making during this time, and we're gonna now take a look into one of her other thing, which is calling for backup. She kind of does this motion, kind of talks to her walkie-talkie on the shoulder, and then looks side to side. So with that done, we're going to take a look into her third animation, which is for jogging around. There we go. Yeah, so she's basically like same thing of walking around, except she's now in the workout gear, and she's more or less kind of reminds me of like what would you see in certain aspects of those movies, those cliche cop movies, training type of deal, that they always wear those get-ups and type of thing. I'm not sure if that's actual official uniform or if that's just a trope that you see in films, but yeah, it certainly seems a reference to that in any case here. Now we're going to dive right into, I think this might be the last one we're going to take a look into, because the other ones I've seen before or showed off, which is the taking a break. Also, I'm mistaken. Apparently looking for clues results in her... Looking for clues was the one with her walking around, and I think looking for a suspect was her talking. Yeah, you know, I've messed those two up, but whatever. We're going to roll with this because... I'm too busy with stuff right now. I mean, this is just going to be a jam-packed anthology. The fact that I had Curly help me is another thing entirely, as far as you know. But, yeah, anyways, the long trip to her cop car. You need this in order to actually see this through, so we're going to go ahead and dive into this here. And, yeah, so she's right about here, so we're going to show off what she looks like in this animation. The typical drinking coffee, eating a donut on top of her, I'm assuming her car. So, yeah, there you go. 4 tasks with 4 animations. Not that bad. She certainly put an impression on me, let's just say that way. Oh boy. But I'll leave it off with this animation too. I haven't shown this one off, and this is one of the Marty ones, which is Fine Ice Cream Cone. But I'll give it back to Curly.
You know, there's a saying that goes, if you don't learn your history, you are doomed to repeat it. Dustin is going to find that the hard way, because the next tale we're talking about features him going through a museum where he gets to find a mysterious-looking suit of armor. And unfortunately for Dustin, he's about to find out that the old owner to this suit of armor is still around to this day. Let's go ahead and tell this tale, shall we?
So we start our thing off with a clip of the Evil Knight, which is coming from the museum. I believe it's the museum as it's called. Let me find out real quick once we get this click here. Or maybe not. Yeah, no, I guess, let me just see. Okay, so it is the History Museum. Alright, my bad. Right, I just wanted to make sure. So this is what it looks like and everything like that. So let's go ahead and have Curly, or, the introduction to the story.
The knight in screaming armor. Many humans falsely believe that knights were all good and heroic. But the truth is often different, as Dustin learns when he has a bad night at the museum. Ha ha ha.
Dustin, did you see the History Museum is opening? I bet there are fascinating items we could check out.
If it happened before the invention of video games, it can't be very interesting, can it?
Alright, first task, obtain some evidence recording and get some spyglass binoculars. Easier thing to do. Very easy indeed, so it's not going to go too much in depth with that. The book itself, this is based off of Knight in Screaming Armor. It's actually quite interesting because it's a choose-your-own-adventure book, and as the story goes, it kind of references this a bit. You'll see in particular.
I can't believe I let you drag me into this lame museum, Brooke.
I think it's great here. And the school's paper is letting me take official photos for the first time.
Oh, great. Watching you take pictures will be about as fun as watching paint dry. I'm taking off on my own. Later, Brooke.
Also, you'll find out that these videos are going to go rather quickly.
Let's see if I can find something fun to do now that I've ditched Brooke. Hey, look, 2 boxes of armor. Cool. Not even Marty would mess with me if I was wearing armor. This one says, good night. That's not really me. But this one marks Evil Night. That's the one I want. Let me open it up.
Yeah, so play the Evil Knight scene, obtain some of the medallions, and sell the sparkling medallion. So this is what I was talking about with the thing being related to the book. In the story, I believe it was you and your... okay, whoa, buddy. You can stop glitching out there for a second. Oh dear. Okay, yeah, that's cool. The knight is certainly being very glitchy. I think he's okay now. I think he's solved his problem. Yeah, but Knight in Screaming Armor, I believe, if I remember myself correctly, in the book, you and someone was traveling to, I think, England or somewhere in the UK, or United Kingdom, because someone with a history or I don't remember, but I recall that at one point they come across a casting of saying like Evil Knight and like more Evil Knight. God, it's been so long since I read the book, but I do remember that there was a thing where there were 2 castics of these boxes of knights, and spoiler alert, the one you choose is going to be bad regardless, because of course it always is when it comes to a choose your own Goosebumps adventure. Speaking of the Goosebumps adventure books, man, they were really cruel back then. You read it and you go like, oh, do you want to go to this adventure? And you're like, no. It's like, what? No? What? Are you a baby? Yeah, go back and read your book, baby. And it's like, wow, you don't have to be so mean about it. You should read some of those books. It's really, ooh boy. Yeah, so we're going to sell the sparkling medallions after that and continue on with the story.
I'm gonna be the baddest, meanest knight ever once I put this on. Oh, wow. This suit of armor has a cool medallion. I bet it's a symbol of being a real tough guy. Hey, there's a light coming from it. I feel funny.
You are mine now, child.
The one and only time we're going to get to see the Evil Knight, so,
Oh no, Dustin seems to have fallen into some kind of trance. Can anyone help him?
Step aside, girl. Let me look. I see. I recognize this medallion. He's been hypnotized. Let me cover it with my purse. There. He should recover in a few moments. He's obviously has a medical condition.
rather final thing. Place the diplomatic car and reach a scarometer. Now, luckily this didn't cost Goosebucks, so hooray for that. Interesting thing though, I have no idea how Mrs. Dark knows about this particular medallion and how she knew about what it is. I guess she must have learned her history or something. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is this, like, okay, so Dustin was possessed by this spirit, I guess, because he was wearing the medallion like a dum-dum. And because of that, they ended up changing, I guess, hiding the light from him caused him not to be possessed anymore. I don't know. But also, by the way, because she took the medallion, I'm assuming, in the purse, did that mean that she technically just stole it from the museum? Who knows?
Dustin, are you alright?
What happened? Where am I? I was fighting against a dark knight. I thought I was a goner for sure. Wow.
Who says museums are boring? Not Dustin. Not after his bad night, anyway.
And just like that, the book has been done, so now we're just going to continue on with the other stories.
Another story down, and now we're off to another crew of the paramedic kind. This one is a bit more of a doctor of sorts. Not a mad doctor or a scientific doctor, but one that is considered to be for the humans a healthcare professional. That being Kim. Now I believe the Grim guy is going to be talking more in depth with this character in question, but I'll be back when he's done with his boring spiel.
You know, you don't have to get so picky with me, Curly. Anyways, this is the doctor. He has about 4 tasks, just like the other 3 we're about to look in, like, you know, the Officer Raymond and then the other one. So this is Kim. Now, Kim and Florin, the firefighter, has not have any story as far as any dialogue goes. Well, okay, besides Florence, he kind of did during February of, I believe, 2020, but that doesn't really count. Kim has absolutely nothing as far as I can recall, so it'll be interesting if they end up fleshing him and the firefighter out a little bit, but yeah, we're going to go into his first animation task, which is the doing CPR, and it's a very bizarre animation because, well, yeah, he's doing this on top of a bigger, like he's doing a small one and then he's just on top of a bigger one. Yeah, so maybe they might need to fix this by either changing the proportions or just changing the size. He comes with the hospital, which is right here, which is a little bit of a nice little looking building. I'll give it that. So we're going to go into the next one, which is going to be playing the accordion. And he certainly puts up his clown outfit. I can relate to that, being a clown myself and not in the get-up way, but, you know. But, yeah, he has his Patch Adams look going on here. And, yeah, the actual real-life Patch Adams, not the movie by Robin Williams, because apparently they ended up having to write that off and saying, like, oh, no, that's not true. It's an interesting movie, but, you know. Anyways, next one, juggling. Yep, it's basically like that with, I'm guessing, health balls or something. I don't even know what's with the ball design, but okay. So now he's going to go for his last one, which is taking a break. So after all the juggling and all that CPR, he's now going to take a break. And, ooh, what is this do I see? He's not drinking coffee, but let's just zoom in real quick. Yep, he's drinking his coffee, and, oh, he's smoking. Oh, man, that's a very bad habit, man. For being a healthcare professional, you would think that he would be more preserved, but yeah. And then here's another thing I will show off, which is basically Saren taking photos. It's a little thing, but whatever. I guess we're done with this.
You know, there's a saying that goes, wait, haven't we just done this before? Ugh, I guess we just got a little case of deja vu. Seems like the next tale is going to be featuring good old Dustin as well as Brooke, but instead of a museum, they're actually going to a court system. A very interesting place to be, especially this tale comes at the force of a character who presides themselves to be the judge, jury, and executioner. Do you dare go back in the past? Well, you'll find out in this tale that I like to call A Night in Terror Tower.
I'm so excited. I get to visit the new Court Palace building as the official photographer.
That's that building they brought over from England, right?
Yes, and my boss, Ricky, and the school paper gave me the assignment to cover it.
As long as there's no scary armor suits there, I guess I can go with you.
Man, that night really got you.
Excuse me, Curly, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'll go back.
Yeah, anyways. Yeah, we're back here. It's gonna be real quick, so we might as well just go through with this.
Look, Brooke, there's some words written on the wall. I wonder what they mean.
How interesting. I better take a photo of them.
They started glowing after you took the picture. And this stone appeared. I'll pick it up in case it's valuable.
Children, you must come with me, quickly.
I told you this is gonna be quick.
Why should we come with you, mister? Are you some kind of tour guide here?
Oh, he's a tour guide. I better take a picture.
No pictures! Come with me and I'll take you on the official tour. Unless you happen to have some magic stones, by chance. In that case, you'll be spared. Let's start the tour.
Right, okay, so play the Lord Hyde Executioner scene, obtain magic stones, sell a magic stone. Okay, so, apologies on that. So this is the courtroom. This is part of the new building here for this scene, and, yeah, it's weird how they've referenced the night scene. And it's weird because this book is called Night in Terror Tower, and yet this scene and stuff had nothing to do with, like, being in a terror tower of sorts. And what's even bizarre about this, I guess I get the idea is like, oh, it's not going to be a museum, it's going to be like, oh, you're going to a court system and it's in England. And the guy's accent is so weird, but yeah, we get a good close-up view of this man. So this is the High Executioner. I think in the book, it was weird, because if I remember the book, it had these two kids, and they ended up going back in the past, and this Lord High Executioner was trying to kill them, and it was like this weird time period piece, and then they meet this magician, and it turns out that these two kids are actually not from the future, but they're actually from the past. Like, they're actually in their same time period, but this magic guy actually sent them away in this future in hopes to try not to defeat their fate. They ended up going with this magic stones and all that stuff, and it's a really bizarre tale, but it's one of those weird, like, ooh, I like this kind of story type of deal. So, you know, it's quite interesting. Anyways, I'll let the dialogue go here through, and I'll come back right afterwards.
I don't know if I trust this tour guide guy, Brooke. He seems awfully interested in my stone.
He doesn't seem that bad to me. But maybe I'm biased because of his English accent sounds classy.
Then you stay with him. I'm gonna go split and fast.
Stop or die! I need those stones!
Keep running, Brooke. It's the only way we'll lose him.
Did it drop the stone, Dustin? Maybe that'll stop him from running after us with an axe.
Okay, here goes. Here, take this stone. You're the worst tour guide ever. Don't look back, Brooke. Just keep running.
Alright, and then reach a scarometer. So simply that, just, you know, get a lot of stuff, and hopefully you'll be passing it, which I will at this point. So yeah, this book is not really that, like, the story, I should say, is really quick in the sense. I feel very disappointed because I feel like this story has potential to actually have somewhat of an expansion, especially since it's connected with Scream of Armor. I could have seen those two stories kind of meeting one end to the other. But who knows? Maybe in the future they might end up fixing this, but as of right now, it's going to be, well, this is going to be the only way I'm going to be sharing this, so might as well.
Phew. We made it out of the building alive. And I got some pictures while I ran away.
I don't know why you want to be a photographer. It seems like a bad things happen on every assignment.
Oh no! All the photos came out blank. Ricky will be so disappointed in me.
Losing her proof of the High Executioner's presence is the best thing that can happen to Brooke on this night.
And we're finally done with that story, and it was rather quick, like to the point. Let's get this going and quickly as we let Curly take us to our last point. Okay, now you can come back on.
Before we get to our final story, we might as well take a look into our final paramedic. This one's always looked like the hero to every stories. For a man who goes and fighting fire, you would assume that he might have some suspicious stuff himself. But we might have to wait to see in the future. Only I know the truth. But finally, let's take a look into, well, let's have the pumpkin boy look into Flores, aka the Firefighter.
Yeah, so now we're going to take a look into the Firefighter, which is, he's very interesting, I'll say that. He did do a dialogue exchange briefly with Ramon, but other than that, he had, like him, had no real dialogue as far as whatever. We're going to do his first animation here, which is practicing, that, basically. You need some items in order to play through these. Luckily, unfortunately, all these are coins, so you're easy to get these guys anyways, regardless. It's a shame because, as of right now, they haven't been really in-depth within the events as far as we know, or the story. I'm hoping that's changed. They kind of did it with Ramon, so we'll have to wait and see if they do it with the other ones too. Because I can see them having interesting stories. So yeah, this is the animation for this one, and it's interesting with the getup because, well, I'll just try to describe it to you this way as I see it, as when we do a close up. Basically, he climbs up the ladder, right? He goes into the makeshift window, immediately pops this character out, and puts Agent 47 down with the other clones. I know it's a dummy, but the way it looks kind of gives an Agent 47 feel, and you're just putting him on top of other ones, and then just kind of masking that countless bodies of dummies on the floor. Well, and he also comes with the fire house, which is seen during this part anyways across, so yeah, right here. It too looks an interesting building. I'll give him that. I do like the buildings they design here. So for the next one he has is taking a break under a tree. Now, in order to kind of show this off, I'm going to have to do a trick, which is looking away from the screen, have it load out, and then come back in with him basically being bare, because where he's going to a tree's point is going to be one where it's going to be blocked from any view. And, yeah, he seems to want to show off, let's put it that way, with his, yes, he's completely hidden here, but don't worry, I'm going to show you a trick. So now we're going to go out here into the ether. Right, we're going to wait a while for everything to load into this section. And then as soon as we get a good enough stuff, we're going to immediately go back and zoom right into his, yeah, so here we go. We got some stuff loaded in, so now we're going to immediately go right over to where he is and quickly zoom in. And, yep, there he is, drinking water, shirtless, showing off the massive muscles that he has to do because he's a firefighter. And then he goes into hiding again. Yeah, so the next one is controlling fires, in a sense. It's weird because there's no real fire animation when I was doing this. I don't think they ever had. I'm guessing that's supposed to be either smoking or like showing that there's a fire going on. It might because of the positioning. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think the positioning should have an effect, but it has for some animations. But the gist of it is him basically, well, you'll see in a minute what he does here. I do appreciate the fact that they do give all these guys animations, though, so that's something. Yep, so he does this. So he's just practicing with the fire extinguishers, just blowing out pretend fires, I guess. I'm not even sure what that is. I'm assuming that's like one of those controlled fire starter type things. I know they kind of have that when these fake buildings, like when they're practicing, when they're going into a fire building, they have something set up so that it's under like a fire, but it's controlled fire. I'm assuming that's probably what's going on here in the sense. I also love the fact that the fire extinguisher for some reason just fades out of existence real quick and then this fades back in. And then we're going to go into this final one, which is going to be opening a force entry, which is going to be utilizing this door here. So, yep, this is him cutting through with a saw, with the jaws of light. It's weird too why he's doing this, because there's no real indication, but yeah, for the most part, these are all the 3 animations I have yet to cover because they had no stories. So I'll give it back to Curly for him to introduce us to the final book.
Well, what do you know? We're in our final story. It's a shame. I've been really liking doing this for a while. I guess we'll end it off with a bit of a banger. You ever heard of the Loch Ness Monster or Bigfoot? Those urban legends of creatures that you may know? Well, wouldn't you know it, HorrorTown has something like that as well. The creature in question lives in an abandoned love tunnel. A place where Greg thought that Megan would enjoy going into. Boy, that boy doesn't get the hint, does he? Anyway, speaking of which, when Lucy and Eric decided to go and investigate the creature in question, well, let's get our final conclusion of the story going in this end of these trilogies of sorts. Anthology? Whatever, it's getting to the point. Let's just dive right into the video. I always wanted to say that.
So as he said, we're at the Tunnel of Love as we're going to take a quick look into the actual character here. I'll look more into this little creature known as the Shaggedy. He's an interesting character as far as the lore goes and the story. I kind of vaguely know about it. I actually have the book, believe it or not. And it's an interesting story because it kind of comes off as like these 2 kids, twins, and it turns out that they're actually the Shaggedy. So apparently this creature is able to turn into 2 kids. It's weird.
Here comes the Shaggedy. Some tales of monsters are mere frights of fancy. Others seem outlandish, yet holds a grain of truth.
Have you ever heard of the Shaggedy, Eric? I came across something in the library about it.
Are you still using the library for research, Lucy? That's so old-fashioned. If you wanted to find out about this Shaggedy, you needed to harness the awesome power of 8-bit computing.
Right, so we're going to obtain some monster database and obtain some cyborg hacking. So this is the interesting part when it comes to the story because, well, it's interesting so far with all these tales I've been showing you that they've kind of had some sort of theme going on when it comes to these creatures are kind of like there, but they seemed like there was more to them than just what we were given. In fact, the Tunnel of Love thing kind of makes me wonder if they would do something with them during a Valentine's Day update, but who knows? I mean, it has the potential to have it, so maybe. But yeah, anyways, here's the Tunnel of Love scene, so we're going to have to summon this big boy. So there he is. He's going to be walking around town as the foliage monster as he is. I do like the fact that they decided to design him in this way better than the cover art. But what's weird about this, by the way, for some reason, when I recorded this, the animation of him scaring is like he's scaring from afar. Of course, by the time you're seeing this video, it's already been fixed, but it's just funny how he's just scaring people, and it's like completely in the back end. And what you'll find out when it comes to the Shaggedy is that it's one of those monsters that looks scary on the surface, but it kind of reminds me of being a golem of sorts. Only because, as you'll see later on, the Shaggedy's purpose is, well, I won't spoil it just yet because Lucy is going to figure it out. But it's an interesting character that I really want to see be more developed. But we'll just have to wait and see because there's a lot of other stories going on right now. And quite frankly, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I figure that because he's in the Tunnel of Love of all places, he'd be in this, Valentine's Day update. But that being said, When I was doing these clips, I realized I ended up misplacing or even forgetting to, while I was doing these clips in the early years of 2018, I either misplaced or accidentally didn't record the next two-part scenes here. Would have made it lit blank, and even to the story of Question that we don't know what we're going into. However, lucky for you, I want to thank Dylan Scott Gillian for allowing me to use a bit of his clip in order to show the story I've missed. I've mentioned him before. He has started doing the Let's Play. He's up to 4. He's almost at the point where he's actually caught up to the whole thing now. Again, he also does Magic Kingdom. He does the Disney Sorcerer's Arena. I guess by the time, if he's watching this channel, by the time you see this, you probably know, oh, that's when he took it, right? But, yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and shout him out, because without him, these next two points would not have been shown off as far as my acting goes. So, with that in mind, here we go.
So, Lucy, I fed that data into my Maxtra 2000 computer, and it seems Shaggedy reports center on one area. The Tunnel of Love down at the old abandoned theme park.
I suppose we should investigate that area. Does the computer have any other information?
Yes, I just need more performant paper so I can print out a map plotting the reports.
So with that done, we're going now into part 2, and then we're going to be continuing on with the normal gameplay footage. So, here we go.
Greg, when you said you'd take me to a theme park, I thought you meant the one that was in operation.
It'll be fun, Megan. I promise.
It's no good, Greg. I know what your promises are worth now. Wow, Eric, she sure is mad at him. But if Greg leaves too, it'll be easier for us to investigate.
So again, thanks again to Dylan for that. So now we're going to be playing the Shaggedy scene again and getting the teddy bear, which is the scene drop item. After which we will be selling that to Shader, of all people, again. So you're seeing the pattern of getting crafting items, playing the scene, getting the scene item, and then, you know, you probably have seen this. Yeah, so now he's fixed in this part, and this was like during Thanksgiving, so it took me a while to get everything here. But yeah, I mean, quite frankly, out of all these stories I've covered, I think the Shaggedy is one of the ones I like the most. I guess just because I like the character, the way he looks, as well as I feel like there's more potential with that character of all things, but I don't know. I mean, I know that they've made assets of a statue like a somewhat of a book prize, so it made me wonder that perhaps it was originally planned to kind of do what they did with the other, you know, like the Masked Mutant and the Abominable Snowman, and well, you know, the fish place, but you know, the water park, the abandoned water park slide with the piranha people. Yeah, it would be very intriguing indeed to see how everything goes from here. However, I think by then we have all what we needed, so now, magically... What are you kids doing here? You're probably the reason Megan ran off.
Calm down, Greg. We're here to look for Shaggedy. I mean, just to look around.
Megan and I could have had a perfect evening if you haven't messed it up. Here comes your Shaggedy! What the heck was that sound? Do you kids have some kind of wild animal?
I don't know what it is, but we better get out of here.
Oh, whatever! I'm leaving! But I'm not running away! I just gotta find Megan!
I'm glad Greg left, but what was that sound? And what is that green and orange monster?
Finally place a scarecrow and reach a scarecrow meter, as we always do now. It's $5, so it's not that bad, and it's gonna fit with Jack's place. It's weird too, because that scarecrow is actually a Halloween one, and yet it's just a reskin of this one here. I'm gonna place that there, and then I'm gonna magically be done with the scare meter in question. So
don't run, Dustin. I think it was trying to save us from Greg. It's okay, Mr. Monster. Greg wouldn't hurt us. He just has some, strong feelings about Meg.
I don't know if he wanted to help us or eat us, Lucy, but he's disappeared into the foliage.
And just like that, we're done. So, yeah, it turns out the Shaggedy was actually a good guy. He was, actually more of a golem and protector of sorts. And I guess he saw the kids were being attacked, so to quote, by, Greg. And that wasn't the case. But hey, they didn't know any better. But yeah, I guess that's about it. I finally got everything. Now that we've finally done, we have done everything. Everything's been covered. Oh man, that is a good lift on my shoulders. Man, thank God I'm done this. Oh, right. Thanks again, Curly. I'm again surprised that you wanted to do this, but it's a pleasant surprise. Let's just put it that way.
No problem, player. By the way, you were playing my vet, right?
Yes, I am.
Did you?
Yes, don't mention. I know. Don't worry.
Alright. Well, enjoy yourself. See you later.
Is he gone? I have no idea what happened there. That's creepy. Alright, anyways, with the jokes aside, yeah, this was a weird video. I wanted to make this one unique because, how do I make this story interesting? Well, I make the video interesting, substitute that. So, there you go. By this point, I have done all that I need to cover. Everything's wrapped up in a bow. Now it's all about the new stuff. So, by the time you see this video, I'm going to be trying my best to catch up with stuff. At the moment, too, I've been starting another series off, and I'm going to be doing other weird videos on the side. Just to expand a bit, but hey, whatever. I'm still going to be doing these videos so long as this game's still running. So if you liked this video, let me know down below, and I would be loving to see you guys very soon. Until then, I've been Grim, and I'll be seeing you next time for whatever Goosebumps HorrorTown brings us. Until then, celebrate. I'm finally done. I'm finished. I'm great. Yeah.